Sometimes in life, there's an opportunity to save $1 or $2 or a few hundred. That's why today I'm bringing you tips on how to buy MacBooks, iMacs in 2020 and in years to come. I'll cover the best places to buy a used Mac online and in person today. And I'll cover some tips to make sure you're not getting a cat in the bag and that you're getting the best bang for your buck. So first, let's go over buying in person. There are many apps and places out there. I would like to say that probably LetGo is one of the best apps, but in general, the only real place that I would really suggest for you to go to in 2020 is the Facebook Marketplace. The Facebook Marketplace has the most amounts of real ads. It's very difficult for you to fake an ad on Facebook because you have to have a reputable account to create a listing. And so this immediately eliminates a lot of fake ads out of your way. So my suggestion is Facebook Marketplace for buying a used physical Mac. So first you need to check the specifications of your Mac, and you do this by going to the Apple logo in the top left corner and going to About This Mac. Here you'll find specifications for the operating system that's installed, the processor that the computer has, the RAM memory that it has, the kind of graphics that it has, and if the computer is connected online, it'll have the year that the Mac was made. And this is very important information. There's also a storage tab, and then there you can see how much space you have and what kind of hard drive that you have, if it's a solid state or a mechanical disk drive. So the first very important tip is do not buy anything below the year of 2012, and it has to be late 2012. And that goes for iMacs and MacBooks alike. You might ask why, and that is because Apple in late 2012 introduced Retina technology across most of their devices. Now what does that mean? They had a really hard push to increase the resolution of their graphics chips, okay, and that caused them to upgrade their internal platform, okay? So this is the year where basically everything went to a higher level architecture, logic boards, as far as the GPU, CPU, and the North Bridge are concerned. Everything got upgraded, and so all of these new technologies were introduced. So if it's late 2012 and above, it's going to have really neat features that you really need, like AirDrop, just better resolution, and overall it's going to be a newer device. And most importantly for many people is the operating systems. Majority of 2012 models will support most of the newer operating systems, if not all, whereas anything below that is probably going to be capped at El Capitan or Sierra, High Sierra, something like that. There's the operating system limitation for older Macs. I understand that sometimes people are in a really tight budget and they just can't go over a certain amount. At this time, I'll give an approximation that, you know, the least expensive unit that you can buy that's 2012 is probably going to cost you around $500 or $600, and sometimes you just don't even have that. So you got to go a little lower, and you'll see there are units for $200 or $300 that are available. So what my advice to you with this is just make sure that you have an i-series processor in whatever unit that you buy. Obviously, do not buy anything below 2010. It's going to be completely useless. 2010, between 2010 and 2012, there is a small gap where you can buy something for $200 or $300 that might still be somewhat usable. Just make sure it has the i architecture. So an i3 processor for iMacs, or an i5 or an i7 for MacBooks. So these 2010, 2011 units might have slower GPUs, they might be capped, they might not be able to go beyond like High Sierra or something like that, but they will in fact still work with majority of modern applications. There is still usability with units that are 2010 to 2012. One of the really important things to keep in mind is that Macs with a mechanical hard drive are basically useless, okay? They are so slow, and I believe it was something like in El Capitan where Apple just like introduced some back end coding that just rendered all of these machines like completely useless without a solid state disk. If you are buying something that's 2012 and beyond and it doesn't have a solid state disk, then you have a really, really good point for negotiating the price. Okay, you have to remember this: you will have to make that upgrade. A mechanical drive in a Mac that has a modern operating system is basically useless. You have to have a solid state disk. For iMacs, under no circumstances should you ever buy an iMac without testing it. Okay, and this is the hardest part: arranging, meeting up, and having it plugged in and playing around with it can be very difficult. So this is one of the reasons why you'll find that many iMacs are a lot cheaper, because they're a little harder to sell. All the tests and techniques that I'll be covering also apply to iMacs where applicable. In person, on Macs, once you're done checking the specifications by going to the Apple logo and going to About This Mac and figuring out that, hey, this is in fact the unit that you think that you're buying, okay? It's time to check some functionality. And the first thing we want to check is we want to check the cycle count on the battery. And so you do that by going to About This Mac and then clicking More Details. Now with battery cycle count, the lower the count, the better the battery. It just means that that count is responsible for how many times the battery was discharged. If you discharge something and recharge it over and over and over again, over time, it starts losing its ability to hold a charge. So a higher cycle is bad, a lower cycle is good. Next, let's check the iSight camera, speakers, and the microphone. And I have a really nifty test that you can do through photobooth that allow you to check all of those things in one shot. Check this out. So to perform the photobooth test, right, we want to go to the launchpad here, okay, and we want to scroll over until we find the application called photobooth. It's in every single Mac. Now in photobooth, as you can see, my face is showing up right here. On the bottom left corner, right now we're in picture mode. On the bottom left corner, we can click the video mode, okay? And this little record button turns into a video, okay? And then what we want to do is we want to record ourselves by clicking this and saying, hi, this is a test to test the camera, the speakers, and the microphone all at the same time. This test is over. Now, after we click stop, we can see our little video popped up right here. Okay? We can go ahead and click this video and watch it. Hi, this is a test to test the camera, the speakers, and the microphone all at the same time. This test is over. Looks good. Looks good. We were able to test that the iSight camera works, that the microphone worked, and that the speakers worked all at the same time. The next thing you want to do is just get a general feeling for how the apps are opening and responding. If it's like really sluggish, you can tell there's something wrong with it. One of the things to watch out for is when you're opening one or two simple apps, the fan will kick in and start going in overdrive. That usually means that there's something wrong internally. Perhaps there's dust and debris that's blocking the fan from spinning, so it has to spin faster. Perhaps the thermal paste needs to be replaced on the heatsink to the processor, and is just overall older unit. Or perhaps there was some liquid damage somewhere on the logic board and some components are not functioning the way that they should. I would definitely stay away from units whose fan kick on right away as you're testing it running a few simple apps. So the next thing we want to do is we want to physically inspect the unit, make sure that the screen has no cracks. Usually you're going to have lots of scratches, scuffs, dings all over the MacBook, which is totally normal. The thing that we're really trying to avoid is having any kind of imperfections in the screen, whether it's scratches, staining, or any kind of imperfections that will prevent you from normally functioning with the MacBook. Because usually when you're looking at the screen, and you're doing your work, you're not paying attention to anything outside of it, and it's so bright it just basically blocks everything out. You can put a sticker or a case over any of the scuffs or scratch imperfections as long as they don't impede the functionality of the MacBook. Now usually if there's nothing wrong with the screen, okay, and the unit has a bunch of scratches on it, and it's a little beat up, but the screen works and all the specs check out, and it doesn't have any problems like the fan's not kicking on or anything like that, then it's usually considered a solid B unit. There is a grading system when it comes to selling or buying used Macs, and it works like A, B, C, right? So A would be a perfect unit, like a perfect MacBook or an iMac that doesn't have any scratches or minimal wear. The screen is perfect, the specifications are good, and it's basically like brand new but just been opened or used, right? And those are very rare. A B unit is when the unit has some scuffs on it, but the screen is intact. The screen has no scratches or any issues. Just the unit has some cosmetic imperfections. So that's a B unit. And a C unit is that basically the unit still functions, but it has heavy cosmetic wear and some type of underlying issue, like a glitchy trackpad or maybe a little crack on the screen. So it would still be considered usable, but it has a major imperfection, and that's why usually C grade units are substantially cheaper than A or B units. And now we're going to move into buying these units online, and this is where this grading system is very important. The first thing I'll say before we go into buying Macs online is that anywhere that you choose to buy from, make sure that they have a return policy. Places like eBay and Amazon have buyer protection programs. So if you bought something from there and it is not what the person claimed it was, you can file a complaint and get your money back. In this video and in this example, I'm going to show you how I would buy a MacBook on eBay, both refurbished or used. Quick tip, when you're buying online and the unit arrives, okay, make sure not to throw away that box, because during testing, if there's anything wrong, you can still just pack it right back up into that box, print out a free return label, and send it right back to the seller and get your money back or get an exchange. Okay, the real challenge to buying online is balancing between a good price and a reputable seller. So for this example, let's see how I would do it if I had an $800 budget for a MacBook Pro to do some graphics design. Let's go to eBay. We want a MacBook Pro with a large screen, 15-inch, and our budget is 800 bucks. So I'm going to start off by just typing in MacBook Pro, okay, and we're going to say 15-inch, 15-inch MacBook Pro. That's how we're going to start our search. Now on eBay, I like to narrow things down quite quickly. First thing I want to do, okay, is I want to make sure that I am buying only from wherever I am located regionally as far as the country is concerned. So I'm just going to say US only. This is going to narrow down any kind of problems with shipping that I'm going to have. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to select the buy now option. I want to get rid of all of these auction listings. Get all that out of the way. Now I want to rearrange all of these from the lowest price down. Okay, and now as you can see, a couple of these are here that are 500s. That's sponsored. Okay, so you got to watch out for that. When it says sponsored, they're just trying to sell you something. Okay, so ignore all the sponsored. As you can see here, all the prices are going from the lowest down to higher, right? So now what we want to do is, you can see all these old crappy units that we don't really need. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we get rid of some of these older models. And eBay allows us to do that by basically selecting our years, but we want to be careful here. So I'm going to click See All under Release Years, and I'm only going to select 2013 and up. I'm going to ignore 2012, even though 2012 had the Retina models. It also had some models that are not Retina, and my budget is too high for non-Retina models. So I'm just going to select these here, hit apply. As you can see, now everything that I am going to see, except for the, of course, sponsored links, are going to be exactly what I'm looking for. So here we have our first few contenders, and now you have to be careful. Some of these are broken, okay? So we don't want to have any. Some of these, as I was saying before, look, it says grade C. This is a company that refurbishes units. Uh, you can tell right here there's a key missing. It's not a very good one. So we keep going down, keep going down. All right, what else we have here? This doesn't have a hard drive in it. So we just keep going down, and I know I'm going a little fast because I already know some of these that I'm looking for. I'm completely ignoring. Like, I can see this is a seller with all these little stars. They're just trying to sell refurbished MacBooks that are not very good. I don't want that. I don't want anything that's commercialized. So let's see here. This is pretty nice. 50. So look at this one right here. 600 bucks. Also, 47 people are watching it. So let's click on that and see what it says. Fully functional, delimited screen, meaning that delimited. This is the picture right here. When the screen's off, it looks like this. Okay, I know it looks really bad on the photo. In real life, it's actually not that big of a deal. But there's a good example if you want to save a few $100. Okay, if you keep going down, and if you just take your time and look through all of these, just ignore some of these. Like when you see 4 or 5 in a row, is just someone trying to make multiple listings. You gotta keep going and looking at these one by one to really get that good deal that you want. So you can see right here, we're up to $630, but things are looking a lot better. We got a 15-inch 2015 model. So if we just keep going down, as you can see, as we go up in price, the quality increases and the years get newer. So you can see it trending upwards. And basically, by the time we really get to the max of our budget, which is $800, we are really going to see exactly where we max out at. Okay, so here's a good condition for 750 i7 512 SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, 2015. Very nice. Okay. Okay. So I like this. Um, this seems to be a decent reseller. He is testing these units. So let's click and see what it says. Has a few scratches and dents. No, I don't like that unit. Hmm. So here's a grade B Retina 512, 16 gigs of RAM, and this looks like a perfect unit right here for $799, and this comes with a return policy. So if there's something wrong with it, you're going to be able to return this unit to this reseller, which is great. This is perfect. It's exactly what we wanted, and for 800 bucks, we got exactly what we needed. Really nice. So that's how you buy a laptop through eBay. So once you decided on the Mac that you like and you ordered it, the day that it arrives and you open up that box, you should use the advice that I gave earlier as far as buying a Mac in person. It's almost the same way. You open it up out of the box and you test it. You go to About This Mac, you check the specifications, you open up all the apps, you do a photo booth test, and if something is fishy, something you don't like, something just is wrong with the unit, you can go to your account wherever you ordered it from, submit a return, print out the label, put it back in the box, and send it back right back to the seller. I know it might seem intimidating buying online, but it's easier than you think. I really hope you enjoyed this video and this video has taught you something. Thank you for watching. Follow us on social media and have a great day.